So today's, as we know, is a orientation program for cybersecurity training. And for today, we will be discussing how this cybersecurity field, this career is emerging and technology is developing, and how the cyber threats are increasing, and how the companies and technologies are taking care of those precautions against those cybersecurity threats. So today will be today's session will be on a completely orientation program, and let's start it. So starting from the introduction. The cyber term security as referred to the cyber security offered through an online services to protect your online information. That means cybersecurity is we cannot say simple single terms for cybersecurity is a huge big technology in which for defending offensive and incident response and services comes across. So and coming to the next point, with an increasing amount of people getting connected to internet, the security threat that cause massive harm are increasing also. So as we can see, all our technologies and services and all those things are coming to internet. We are using mobile phones, computer, and cloud, which all are on internet, right? So basically, as those things are on internet, so there will be a threat which will be coming and already have in the market or in the place. So right. So like, what is cybersecurity? Uh, I would really appreciate you guys if we make this orientation program more interactive. Uh, we will be having a question and answer discussion. We will be discussing how we can take this opportunity in cybersecurity to grow and earn, and also do researches in cybersecurity. So what's coming to the point, what is cybersecurity, right? So cybersecurity is the application of technology, processes, control to protect system, network, program, devices, and data from cyber attacks. So basically, uh, we cannot say that cybersecurity is all about defensive part or the offensive part. It's about also process also, like documented part, how your company organization is protected from physical security, as well as like your devices like routers, switches, network application, mobile application, all those things comes under cybersecurity program. And it aims to reduce the risk of cyber attacks and protect against the unauthorized exploitation of system. Means whenever an attacker or whenever any incident happen, the defensive part will be taking care of the defensive, like taking care of those things like antiviruses, SOC monitoring, in order to protect your systems, your network, your data from attacker who has some malicious intent. And coming to the point, like what is the need of cybersecurity, right? So this may be a maybe a caution for every security enthusiast, like why this security cybersecurity emerging and why it is growing rapidly. As we can see, like software industries already grown at that stage, but they still need cybersecurity, we can say analyst, consultant, so that their data, their network, and all of those their services will be protected from attacker. So we will be discussing first point here. Cybersecurity is necessary since it helps in security data from threats such as data theft or misuse. Also safeguard your system from viruses. As already mentioned, like antiviruses and your data set theft. These attacks, cyber attacks, really uh, damage your company or business, your organization business in a minute. As we see, like lots of attackers are attacking government organizations, private companies, and which and attacker were trying to extract data from there and selling on the dark web. So this process will make companies and business organization business damage, and also will impact their future business also. So in order to protect those things from from cyber from offensive part, we companies and government organizations are hiring cyber security guy who will be taking care of their security and try to make their network good as possible. Now, second point, few changes in technology causing a boom in cyber attacks, which requires a cybersecurity solution. So, like new technologies I already mentioned, like cloud, IoT devices, and I guess network and DevSecOps part, and lots of things are coming into this part, right? So basically, uh, if these things are growing, so we also need someone, company needs someone to taking care of those precautions and defensive perspective. Now, I will be discussing the core branches of cybersecurity. So, first would be network security. So, as we all know, our router, switches, and all the systems connected to the LAN, VLAN, internet are part of network security. And also, network security in mainly the attacker. If attacker gain access to the network of your organization, of your company, that in case they will using the lateral movement techniques, I will be telling what is the lateral movement after in the main security program after this orientation classes. So using that different techniques, they will be get all the access your data, all of those things in under your which comes under your network. So that part like IPS, IDS, we can say routers, switches, all those things comes under network security. Coming to the application security, so basically application security is all about your application, web applications running on the internet. And in this branch, we will be focusing on how to protect, how to exploit web application in order to find the vulnerabilities, and what kind of precaution will we take care to fix those vulnerabilities. Like suppose for there we are following for application part for we are following OWASP top 10, in which we will be in this branch we will be discussing of the top 10 vulnerability and more of that. So coming to the cloud security, as we all know, cloud is growing very fast, right? And like there are lots of companies who are providing cloud services like Google, Amazon, Azure, Microsoft Azure. So these cloud platforms are giving the services as a SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, which is platform as a service, software as a service, and infrastructure as a service, right? So these, when they provide you service, they will not give you the security posture of. They will be provided a default security posture, but it still need something from your from researcher part, analyst part to protect the cloud organization from the threat. Now coming to the next point, which is IoT security. So basically, IoT, as we all know, our devices, IoT devices, like when we drive a car, when we go on the roads, there are lots of sensor IoT devices are installed on road, like we can say like cameras, or we can say IoT device like a home theater, a home screen, this Alexa. This device, these all devices comes under IoT services, which is connected to the internet, and there is a remote service from where we can able to operate those things, operate those devices. So basically, it as as we all know that this IoT already connected to internet, and it has some hardware and software programming in behind, right? So it also vulnerable to many attacks. Different kind of attack exist in IoT security. We will be discussing in those things in this training part. And that next is endpoint protection. So endpoint means like your system, like my laptop, your laptop, your mobile phones comes under endpoint. And what is endpoint protection? So basically to protect from any threat related to endpoint. That part like antivirus, EDR means, and EDR is something like CrowdStrike we are using to, which is a next level of antivirus. So these things comes under endpoint protection, in which we will be taking care of the endpoint security from like antiviruses, and I already mentioned EDR. So these part will be covered in the endpoint protection. Now coming to the next part, which is very, very important for from the company perspective, compliance and governance, right? So basically, I already mentioned the physical security and documenting part of for security is a very important to get any ISO certification from a company for any ISO certification for company. So in that the compliance and governance part will be come across because like there's a ISMS, there are lots of like HIPAA, PCI DSS, these compliance part and compliance part comes under those things, and in this part we will be able to protect our company from a perspective of physical security, like if you're having the uh, physical backup retention policy, are you having the HR policy, are you having different cyber security related policies exist in your organization, that will be taking care of in compliance and governance. Now, coming to the malware analysis. So malware analysis is a core branch. I already mentioned the core branch of cybersecurity. Lots of attacker, lots of hacker are trying to make new malwares, which is undetectable from antiviruses. They are sending it from the phishing pages, sending it from the network, sending it from the any uh, initial defensive offensive part. So in this part, a man who knows how to do the malware analysis, who is expertise in reverse engineering and malware development. He will be the responsible for analysis the malware in a form to how this malware works, how we can crack this malware in order to like it's like we already I would say already heard about like WannaCry and ransomware and lots of ransomware war attacking were attacked. Many organizations were attacked from those malware. So when the malware comes in your organization, they will like they will encrypt your data, encrypt all your files in a form that only a private key will able to decrypt it, right? So in order to and for analysis part, how we can decrypt those malware, how we can analyze those things, it will comes under malware analysis. Next slide, please. Sure, thank you. So this is as you all know, you are a cybersecurity enthusiast, and you will be working as a security consultant, penetration tester, security consultant in the future, maybe as a CISO, and definitely, uh, I would say, when I entered in this industry, I had this question: what will be my career in cybersecurity, right? What will be my package in cybersecurity, right? How will be how am I good am I good to earn good money in cybersecurity? This question will come across, right? So these points will be covered in this slide and the next slide also. So coming to the first point, security analyst, I would say security analyst is a entry level jobs which you will get to in the company organization, from where you can learn the basic things, from where you can get involved in the projects for the initial part, and you will be learning lots of things. So as I from my experience, I would say cybersecurity analyst, security analyst has two, three different branches, right? I already mentioned in cybersecurity, you cannot rely on the one part, like defensive part or offensive part or monitoring part, right? It needs all three or four things to cover your organization from the threat, right? So, like SOC monitoring, your penetration, we can say defensive part, offensive part will be and comes under will become under security analyst. Like if you have expertise in penetration testing, that and you will be working as offensive security, working in the offensive security, and also if you are more into defensive part like endpoint security or SOC monitoring, then you will be working as a blue teamer or blue team, or I would say. Uh, uh, like defensive part, right? So that things come under security analyst. Now coming to the next point, penetration tester. I already mentioned this like security in the past slide, like there was mentioned like security, network security and application security. So for attacking and for analyzing the your network or any organization network, company needs penetration tester. who will be more into offensive part, who will be trying to exploit, finding the vulnerability, exploiting it, making the reports, sending it to the clients, and then they will be working on the fixing of the vulnerabilities. Those, and also coming to the, I would say like coming to that application part. And the web application part will be on which penetration tester will be exploiting web application vulnerability like cross-site scripting, exploit injection, both on authentication, and lots of vulnerability exploiting in this part. So now security consultant. Once you are have the experience of security analyst and penetration tester initially, like I would say if you're working as a security analyst for 2 years, then you will be eligible for the security consultant, because I would say security consultant is a, no, I would say is a mid senior level of kind job, where you will be more into managing the projects. You will be doing offensive part, defensive part. You will be on the call with the clients to for the project initiation. So I would say security consultant need at least 2 to 3 years of experience in cybersecurity to get the job, to get that profile, right? Now, security engineer is different from security analyst and penetration tester, as lots of companies are giving the cybersecurity engineer profile to like associate security engineer profile to fresher also, which is not actually what I feel is not necessary to give. It's not completely good to give anyone to security analyst engineer profile to fresher, because security engineer is something where you will be implementing security technologies. You will working on the infrastructure security, your application security, implementing those things. So it needs your past experience to work on it, right? Now, security architect will be security architect will be responsible for architecture of the your company, your organization, security boundaries. He will be responsible for making those processes, and will be architect, right? What architect means? Architect means someone who design things, to design or making the things in a good way, right? So it name says all, security architect. So like lots of, when you have experience of more than 5 or 3 or 4 year or 5 year of experience in security, I think you will be good to go with the security architect. You for security architect, you will be I would say you must know secure different core branches of security, like network security, application security, malware analysis. If you know all those different branches, then you will be the best fit for that security architect role, right? Now, security auditor. So as we all know, like when a company are trying to get ISO certification like 27001 or 002 gap analysis part, that time the one person who will be responsible doing the audit in a company, who will be reading your processes, who will be checking your processes, how your processes, are you following the processes, or are you have those mentioned points in the process, are you following those points? So that part will be taken care by security auditor. As already mentioned, there are lots of government organization like in the US, in India, in I would say in London. There's a security auditor who is working for government. Like in India, it will be a BSI. uh, the one from BSI has, I would say, more than 10 year experiences, who will be responsible for auditing for any organization. He will be giving the certification to the company. So that comes under security auditor. Now, the highest position you will get in, I would say, security cyber security career would be the CISO, which is a Chief Information Security Officer. So CISO will be taking care all those things which comes under security part of your company, right? He will be looking at, uh, I would say, he will managing network security. He will be responsible for managing application security. He will be responsible for managing SOC monitoring, and every single aspect of security covered by CISO. I would say CISO is a, CISO is a position, a profile you will not get easily in them, right? You need at least 10 or 15 year experiences. You had to work, you have to work in different technologies, different security posture, different field on cyber security. Then only you will be eligible for the CISO, and it will be the highest paying job, I would say, in security part. Like companies are following different profile hierarchy in the company, like CISO, then VP, AVP, but somewhere CISO is the main person or the manager for the company's cybersecurity program, or we can cybersecurity. I would say cybersecurity aspect from the cybersecurity expert, right? So coming to the next slide, change the slide, please. Thank you. So actually, now security profile pay scale. I already mentioned that entry level profile like security analyst, penetration tester, security admin. Second point would be like senior level profile, which would be like security consultant, security architect, security manager, right? So like lots of companies, like I would say any company which is top like top big four company. If we say, if we talk about big four company, right, like EY, KPMG, Deloitte, and PwC, these companies are following a different hierarchy. Like maybe in KPMG you will get as a security associate security consultant as a entry level. Maybe you will get a associate security analyst, get jobs in EY. So completely depends on the company how they are following the hierarchy. And but as a standard, this is the level for the level profile for their different jobs, right? So like uh, as we talk about senior level profiles, which is security consultant and security manager. Now, what is security manager, right? I would say the senior security consultant and manager have different role. Where security consultant is working on more projects, working on as a penetration tester, working on different aspect of security. But security manager who will be responsible for managing the project, right? Give me a minute, 1 minute. So yeah, in security manager who will responsible for like you are already mentioned projects and lots of things. He will be asking you, if you work under security manager, he will be one who will asking you your project status. He will be one person who will be delivering your reports to the client. He will be in the call with the client to get that vulnerabilities fixed. So that is a work of the security manager. Now security executive layer profile already mentioned, CISO and security director, who I would say this profile is the highest. Already mentioned. I already mentioned that this profile is the highest pay scale, highest the profile job you will get in any organization. Okay. Now, what will be the salary expectation? Like, it's everybody cautions, right? How much I will be earning in this field of security? I already mentioned this is a field which is emerging rapidly. This is growing rapidly. You like as we talk about the the ratio, we are lagging with the security consultant analyst right now, because don't have, our industries, our any country doesn't have those security enthusiast researchers who are working in this field. That's why the companies are hiring lots of security analyst, consultant, and penetration tester for the organization. I would say for the next 20 years, next 20, 30 years, the cybersecurity is the only domain where you will not see any recession in the right, because you will get able to see the recession in software development and cloud part or different like web development, but you will not get to see any recessions in cyber security profile. Okay, so I mentioned only I already mentioned that salary expectation as a from Indian perspective, but I would say as of if I would like to tell you what will be the salary you will be expecting in cybersecurity and US dollar, right? If you are a fresher, I would say you will be getting around $90,000 to 120 k dollar, right? I think that is really huge, right? In India, you will be getting like 3.2 lakh per annum to 6 lakh. It depends on your skills, how you are performing, how do you have that knowledge to clear that interview, to get the 6 LPA, or I would say to 120k LPA, right? So 120k dollar would be the boundary, we can say boundary for entry level jobs. And for that, we will be we will try, we will make sure that you will be able to crack any interview in future after the cybersecurity program, because In this program, we will be discussing web applications, network security, IoT, cloud security, and everything. Malware part, defensive part, which will make you completely confident to clear any those entry level of interviews on any companies, right? So I would say that if you are working with us correctly on time, doing your jobs, doing your would say I would doing your homeworks, everything, then definitely I would make sure we will make sure that you will be getting placed in better and best company, right? So I think for salary expectation, I have seen lots of students are who got really good package, more than 6 LP or 120K package in the initial part of their career, because they have that knowledge, they have that potential to work in cyber security, right? For that, if you are also going to get the higher level or higher package in security jobs, then I would say you need to work hard. We will it will be right good for you also, and also you will be like if you're getting a good job initially, then it will be really great to when you change the company, like suppose you're getting for like 6 LP or 90K dollar as a fresher, right? So after changing this job in 1 or 2 year, I definitely say there will be a boom in your salary, right? So next point, next slide please. So I would say like this will be the all of you guys who have joined getting this thoughts of what will be the topics and what will be the training, what will be the topics we will cover in the training, right? So I would say we will be discussing it's an orientation program, right? We will be giving I will be giving the overview of these topics, what will be learning and what will be doing in this training part, right? So coming to the first part, which is a introduction to Linux OS, right? As we all know, um, for a attacker, for a hacker, Linux platform is the best suitable platform they can use, right? Because if I talk about Linux, I would say it's like open source project. It's open source OS, and here we will be discussing the history of Linux, types of Linux distribution like Ubuntu, Solar, CentOS, Kali Linux, which is Black Box, Parrot OS, lots of different OS distribution, right? And also then we will discussing Linux file system, how the hierarchy and the structure of Linux file system exists. Like already, like you have been working on Windows system for a long time, right? More than 10 year, 20 year, right? So we know the how the structures works in Windows system, right? The C directory, then Windows system 32s, then window, and lots of like students and lots of person doesn't know about the hierarchy works in the Linux file system, right? So we will be discussing in this in this training program. Then we will be discussing how Linux boot process of Linux systems, basic commands, which will be you will get to see how we can use those commands to do our work, basic works, and make our work more comfortable and smooth, right? Now, after this part, we will be having this introduction session to ethical hacking, where you will be working on the basic and entry level of topics in cyber ethical hacking, right? Where we will be discussing OSI model, hacker classes, like for hacker classes, like a different kind of hackers, like black hacker, gray hacker, white hackers, and hacktivist. Not different perspective of hacker, like what kind different we can categorize in that category, right? Hacking phases. What will the phases for the hacking? So scope and ethical hacking, threat, risk, and vulnerabilities, information security controls. Like already mentioned, that security controls means here you have processes and documenting part for the company organization. Defense in depth, vulnerability assessment. What is vulnerability assessment? How we do it? Penetration testing and concept. Information security. Introduction to compliance. So this is the governance and compliance part come under compliance. Introduction to compliance part, like BIS, DSS, HIPAA. for your information, BCI DSS is for payment industries. HIPAA is for like healthcare, and ISO for normal company organization certification, which will make sure that your company is totally following the policy, having the great aspect of security, and you will be not having the those things like you will be mainly uh, when a company is trying to get a client, right? So definitely, if the client is big four or a big MNC company, they will definitely ask for the ISO certification. If you are a company having the ISO certification, then they will be good to go. Otherwise, there are chances that you will not getting the project on your company, right? So next slide, please. Sure, thank you, thank you. Okay, so the next topic would be footprinting and reconnaissance. It's a part of initial phase of ethical hacking. Suppose I will not comes on the points which are mentioned under footprinting and reconnaissance. I would be taking the example which will from where you will connect easily, right? So something footprinting and reconnaissance a part is a, I would say it's in single word you can say information gathering. Nothing, footprinting and reconnaissance is nothing but it's just information gathering, right? Like you are doing a job, you are trying to get a job, so you will do, you will go on the internet, Google, try to find the you are related company jobs, and go using Google's, using forums, using naukri.com, using different kind of web pages, website application to get a job, right? So what are you doing in that phase? So you are gathering the information from the internet, right? So in the similar part, in this ethical courses, you will learn how to get those information related to the network, web application, cloud, or IoT, which will be useful in the attacking phases. So get started. So that I was talking about like information part, right? So all those things you get it from the internet, from the using the tool, Google hacking databases, people searches will be useful in the next part of your attacking process, right? So after gathering all those information from internet or from any type, from any resources, that information you will be using in the scanning part, right? Suppose let's take an example, right? Suppose you need to target abc.com website. You are attacking or you are trying to find the vulnerabilities in abc.com, right? But before attacking abc.com, you need to get what kind of technologies that abc.com website is working on, what kind of different ports are open there, what kind of I don't know CMS are using, like WordPress or different CMS are using hosted on that CMS, right? So that information you need to get from the reconnaissance part. Hello, okay. So now next is scanning network, right? So after getting those information, you will be getting like running different types of tools using like Nmap is the most famous and most used tool by that any attacker in the industry, I would say. Nmap is a, I would say, is a tool which you have used by lots of attacker and already using this tool because it has the capability of scanning, a capability of exploiting, it has capability of brute forcing, capability of doing many things. So in this training part, you will be learning how to use Nmap for scanning things, different kind of scan like TCP connect scan, stealth scan, inverse TCP scan, and lots of things, right? After scanning, you need to find like which kind of firewall are behind the application, right? If you're trying to if you're trying to exploiting the vulnerability, if you're trying to exploit any vulnerability in applications, then you must know what kind of firewalls they are using, right? Because if you're trying to attack, firewall will block your request, right? It will not allow you to give you send your traffic into the network, right? So that information also needed from the attacking perspective, right? Now network discovery and mapping, right? Suppose you will be suppose yeah you become security analyst, you will be going to the company projects, you will be going to different company infrastructure to for scanning and network security part, like suppose, right? So what thing you will be do, like you have a connection in the LAN where almost thousands of different laptops and computers connected in the LAN, right? So the basic thing you will do the network discovery, which IP has which MAC address, right? you need to perform the network discovery, which will be with that information gives you that all the connected devices in the network, IP address and the MAC address of the network, which will be used by you for the further attacks, right? Then discovering networks and from mobile devices. How one can use mobile devices to scan the network, right? So suppose you are connected with a Wi-Fi network, company's network, and that Wi-Fi network is used by more than 100 or 1,000 devices in the company, right? So how can one can use mobile phones to scan the network or discover the network, right? So that part will be covered in this topic. Next slide, please. Thank you. So enumeration and vulnerability assessment. I will not talking about the what is like a different aspect of enumeration analysis. I would simple say enumeration is a no and scanning processes, information gathering. After getting those information, like you get this IP has 3 different port opens. Now further, what shall I do? What should I do? And what I am required to do? That comes in the enumeration part, right? Suppose you are getting the SNMP port open, LDAP port open, NTP port open. Now, for each port and services, you will be enumerating these services to get the more information for these services, right? Where you will try to find what kind of like I would say profile or configured in a what kind of this service is configured in a way, so you can get some juicy information from there. Like for DNS enumeration, like I would say for FTP, are you using anonymous login or not? For SMTP, for are you using default credential or not? For LDAP, are you restricting someone to get information from AD environment for using the LDAP query or not? That kind of enumeration will be done in enumeration part. Now, vulnerability analysis. So basically, as all after enumeration, you will get to know what kind of vulnerability and what kind of threats present in that particular port or service, right? So after that, you need to do the vulnerability analysis basing on the category, right? Suppose if you find a vulnerability which is not exploitable, but giving the some information, juicy information to you. So that part, how would you rate that vulnerability? How are you going to, giving the points based on the category, right? Suppose if a vulnerability is not exploitable, then you must be, you can include it in a medium risk rating. If a vulnerability exploiting it, it is giving you remote control access, then it will be covering in that critical part. So that part will be covered in the vulnerability analysis part. Here you will be using a common vulnerability scoring system, CBE, national vulnerability databases, and lots of things. There are lots of tools which can be used for vulnerability a tool as well, a vulnerability assessment tool as well. Next slide, please. So system hacking and malware threat. I would say like after you get the vulnerabilities and lots of things, you have now in this system hacking, you will be exploiting those vulnerability to gain access. You will be running different tools for like suppose you got password hashes, right? So how to crack the hashes? Suppose lots of companies are following the same standards to encrypt your password or converting your password into hashes. It will not visible someone who doesn't have the knowledge of the pass hashes, we will not get to know what is the password behind that hash, right? So here we will be discussing. We will be practicing live how to crack the password, how to crack the hashes, how to use keyloggers to get the keystrokes from your laptop, someone's laptop, right? How to perform malware attack like Trojans, different and privilege escalation, and many more things, right? Like privilege escalation, histography, how you can hide your information in audio, images, or we would say in video. How can you hide those and juice information in those things? That part comes in the steganography, right? Privilege escalation, if you get a normal shell which doesn't have much, I would say, which doesn't have much privilege, so then in that case, what will you do? You will be doing a privilege escalation in Windows, Linux systems. That part will be covered in system hacking, right? Now next is malware threat. Malware like why the cybersecurity I would say like, why companies are hiring security analyst, consultant. There will be only one answer for that, because of the malware, right? Because malware is something no company wants to get infected with the malware. So in this, I would say in this topic, we will be discussing different types of malwares, the introduction to virus and worms, which is also known as malwares, right? Virus, worms, keyloggers, I was spyware. That all those things comes and trojans, all those things come under malware, right? So definitely we will be discussing virus making, how you can make a virus, how you can make your own trojan, how you can make your own keylogger. It's only for tech. I would say learning purposes. We all know, as we all are here. Will be all guys who have joined here will be good ethical hacker in the future. No one wants to get a black hat hacking, right? No one wants to do some malicious activity in the future. It's all about for the learning purposes. Okay. Now, what is malware analysis? Introduction to malware analysis will becomes under this part. Next slide, please. Okay, then we will be discussing, we will be covering network attacks and social engineering. Already mentioned, like I already mentioned that there are different kind of, I would say, profile already branches in security, right? Malware analysis, network security, application security. Okay, so in this training part, you will get to know about all those different technologies. After that, it's your choice in which branches you want to work, right? As I, for my experience, I've worked as a network security, application security, red teamer, cloud security, and currently working on the bypassing part, area bypassing, antivirus part. So it's completely depends on you, how you are going to take it forward, how you're going to take it in a way of learning in the future, right? So here we will be discussing network attacks like MAC flooding, DSCP attacks, MITM attacks, and using Wireshark, sniffing. All those attacks will be covered in this network part. Now, social engineering. So I would say social engineering is the best way. I think is the most important part of any attack. Suppose let's take an example. First I would like to tell you what is social engineering, right? Social engineering is the art of exploiting the human, where you are exploiting a human, not in any technology, not in any infrastructure, not in cloud, but you are exploiting human. If you are able to exploit any human in a way to get those information, get those credential, get anything, then your attack will be successful in a good manner, right? Because if, for example, I would say phishing, right? In phishing, what you do, you will be sending a link, you will be sending a mails, you will be sending a message, SMS, to your client, to a not client, to you, anyone, where you will trying to make them forced to use this link, use this application, use this ISO file, any exe to download it. In this way, this part covers and comes under social engineering part, as we are seeing lots of UPI attacks, right? Banking frauds and ATM frauds. We can say we are getting a you know many of you guys getting a call from the like, I'm calling for this bank, and you are ATM is expired, and now you for its continuing the expiry, you need to do this thing. Those things come under social engineering part, where you will be in this technique, you will be learning what different types of social engineering, how you can use your knowledge, your mind to get the information from somebody, or even from that victim part, from the victim, right? Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay. A denial of service. So basically, denial of service is a which is a thing where you will be attacking, you will sending lots of packet to the network application in order to make those services down for a time, right? So there are different aspect of denial of services. We can say different category of denial of services. You will be using different like of packets like UDP packets. Maybe you are using ICMP packet, maybe using SYN packet to flood the network. But nowadays, lots of organization, many companies are using uh, solution for protecting from the DDoS attack, right? So, but still there is a chance attacker can deny to a distributed denial of services from various different bots in the on the internet to down that network and for a time being, right? So what is the purpose and what is the secret behind the denial of service? I would say purpose for denial of service to make like there are lots of competitors companies, like suppose KPMG and EY is a company, right? They are competitor company, and suppose Google and Microsoft and I would say any company, I would say Tesla and Ford company, so they are competitor company, right? So sometimes company also not intentionally, but for competition they are maybe any company, I would not say 100% sure about it, but sometimes company also doing the denial of service, or trying to shut down their services of their computer company for a time being, so that for that time being that system is shut down or services shut down, that different competitors can get access and get that profit from there, right? Suppose so for taking an example, right? Suppose your google.com is down for 10 minutes, you are not able to access the google.com, you cannot able to search on Google, right? So in that case bing.com, yahoo.com will be getting the more profits, because the person who is using Google will be switching to the different like competitors, right? So this is the basic agenda behind the denial of service. Okay, now honeypots. So honeypots are things it will be a hardware or software which will be installed in the premises, which will trying to um, get attention of the attacker in the, like suppose you are again you are suppose you are you got initial access in the network, suppose you are getting any get initial access. Now after for lateral movement part, you will be discovering network in the internal infrastructure, right? So honeypot are the things which will make you feel like this is a system where you can this system is vulnerable and you are going to exploit it, but it's a honeypot. They the all that secure monitoring and all those I would say blue teaming will be monitoring this honeypot. If someone get into it, then they will get to know that some attack has happened and attacker inside a network, so they will get to know about those information from there. Next slide please. Hacking web servers and hacking wireless networks, right? So hacking web servers, something like in which you will be working on web application security postures, working on exploiting web application vulnerabilities like SQL injection, CSRF, directory traversal, local file inclusion, command execution on web application, and you will be learning different server architecture, different types of web servers vulnerabilities, and HTTP headers. Those things will be covered in this hacking web servers part. Now, next part is hacking wireless network. So I would say for any organization, for any premises, wireless is a more important thing, right? Wireless, like I would say wireless, like a Bluetooth, or maybe Bluetooth or any our Wi-Fi, right? Because if you're able to crack the Wi-Fi, then you will be in the network, in the same network. All the all the no mobile phones are connected into the same the network. Laptops are connected in the same network, so you will be able to perform that attacks in more appropriate way, right? So that all how to crack it, different kind of encryption, wireless encryption, WEP versus WPA, web vulnerabilities, WEP vulnerabilities, what is MAC spoofing, Wi-Fi sniffing, wireless auditing tool, like AirCake NG, Airmon, different tool you will be learning in this topic, right? So next slide, please. Hacking in mobile platform and IoT hacking for sure. So hacking platform like different iOS, there are two different like I would say iOS and Android, right? iOS is much more. I would not say it's a completely secure, but it's much more secure in a way from Android part, right? So, what is the different kind of attack can be performed using the mobile or different things? You will be learning in this topic. Because there are different OWASP top 10 for mobile application. There are different risks and vulnerabilities for mobile application, different I would say trojans and different malwares for mobile applications. So that all will be covered in hacking mobile platform. Now coming to the next point, which is IoT hacking. So I already mentioned, I guys all know, already known, the IoT is really growing growing very fast, right? So there are different aspects of security in IoT hacking, I would say. different areas, challenges of security. I would say different problems in IoT security, because it's completely different platform where you will be working on software as a and a service and a hardware part also, right? So that knowledge will be you will be gained in this IoT hacking part. Okay, next topic, please. Next slide. Cloud security and cryptography. Okay, so clouds I already mentioned, like Azure, uh, GCP, which is cloud, Google Cloud, and AWS, which is Amazon services, are different cloud services, right? Already present in our different already present, and they are providing their services. So here you will be learn what is cloud computing concept. You will be get to learn how what is cloud deployment models. You will be learning virtualization, separation of responsibility in cloud, and many more things you will be learning and get to know about the cloud security in this topic. Next topic is cryptography. So basically, cryptography is a no, I would say the technology. I would say is a process where you are trying to convert a normal text or normal your secret text, or you no, not secret text, your password in a different format, so that not no one get able to get no one can able to use that information against you or against organization. In cryptography, there are different types of algorithms, encryption algorithms like AES, DES, RC4, RC6, SHA-256, RSA, lots of different algorithms which already mentioned in the slide. You will be learning how these different encryption works, how which is more secure, which is less secure, which is easily able to crack. These kind of things you will be learning in the cryptography part. I would say cryptography has a different branch actually. Cryptography, if you something you cannot complete it in a 1 week or 1 year or 2 year, 3 year. Cryptography is a branch uh, you will be learn day by daily things in cryptography, because you cannot be sure that any encryption is secure as of now. I have seen in my total experience. So this part covers under cryptography part. Now, next slide, please. Okay, that is the rest of the cryptography topic that we will be learning here in the already mentioned. SSL and TLS, PGP, when you do SSH secure shell, what kind of cryptography they are using behind it. Because for example, Telnet is is more vulnerable as compared to SSH, because Telnet, and when we log in the Telnet, all that your credentials are traveling in the clear text. When you do SSH, your credential are in encrypted way. So that how those things differs will comes under cryptography, because SSH using your cryptography RSA algorithms. So that part will be covered in cryptography. So I would say next slide, please. I think it's we have covered all those topics.